A-D-N.
It's HeadphonesNeil!
What's up, guys? Welcome back to HeadphonesNeil Reviews. I'm your host, as always, HeadphonesNeil, bringing you my latest set of reviews and updates and gameplays and all of that good stuff. So, for this review, this episode, it's gonna be much like last week's episode. So we're gonna start off with some Battlestar Galactica updates, then some GTA San Andreas updates, and that's gonna be pretty much about it for this week. So to jump right into it. I did finish Season 1 of Battlestar Galactica, and I'm now a part of the way into the second season. Overall, Season 1 ended on a very interesting and strong note, so it's one of those things where you wouldn't expect, and I definitely didn't expect Cylon Boomer to shoot Commander Adama by the end of the first season, but if you think about it in the context of the show is only 4 seasons, it sounds about right. It's things are happening. No one knows what's going on with the Cylons in the fleet and all of that stuff. So that was definitely something I was not expecting. Something I definitely didn't remember happening from just my trying to recall my memory of any of it. So I was definitely shocked. I kind of was expecting that it would be, or they would kind of do something along the lines of Game of Thrones, where now that he's out of the running at the end of the first season. We'll see how they deal with the fleet going forward. And even when I jump into the start of the second season, it kind of feels like they're trying to decide if they want to go with Colonel Ty as the leader of the fleet, or if they want to give it over to Adama's son Apollo or anything like that. So, but we do get the recovery of Adama, so that all works out well enough. So I'm glad that happened. So I'm kind of curious to see how the fallout of the president lady believing she's the chosen one and leading everyone to Cobalt, which will, I guess, lead everyone to Earth. How it's gonna play out with Adama now that he's recovered. Is he gonna continue with Colonel Ty's decision to maintain martial law and all of that stuff, and how all of that plays out. And then, of course, I'm still enjoying all the stuff with, all the various Cylons. I'm kind of wondering if there really are 8 Cylons in the fleet. And I guess technically, now I'm not sure if it's 8 excluding Boomer, or is it 8 with Boomer, but I'm kind of curious to see how that plays out. Does Gaius can Gaius be considered a Cylon and all of that? And how long is it going to take for everyone to realize that he's been playing everybody? And but I guess now that the secret has gone down with the fleet version of Boomer, are they networked, and is the one that's on Cobalt gonna tell Starbuck and the rest of the people that Baltar's Cylon detector doesn't work? So all things I don't know. So this is all actually turning out to be uncharted territory for me that I've never actually seen, that I can remember the rest of this stuff. So I'm curious to see how it all plays out, especially now that we know that the Cylon human baby hybrids are because Cylons are capturing humans and using them to create humans, which gave me a very Matrix vibe. So by the end of the series, I'm gonna hopefully have a formulated theory that Battlestar Galactica and the Matrix take place in the same universe, and all of these events take place beforehand. So once the Cylons figure out how to effectively grow human babies and plug them into their construct, they're going to go back to the time of 99, because it was the height of human ingenuity, which technically I guess could be considered the time when the Cylons were created, which, I mean, I'll go back and actually verify some of those timelines and stuff, but that's going to be my project and running theory to connect those specific dots. So with that being said, like I said, I'm still working on season 2, but overall super interesting with all the dynamics. I'm very curious to see where they go from here. So with that being said, I'm making some good progress on Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Now that I'm done with, or I think I'm done with Los Santos, so now in the Whetstone area and making my way through that. I assume we're done with Los Santos because I wasn't expecting to leave it, but then I guess because of the gang wars and learning that, and I always get Smoke and the other guy mixed up, but the older friend of CJ who was working with Officer Tenpenny, I guess betrayed them all, and he's basically working for the cops and is the snitch, the informant, whatever you want to call him, and he's actually just in it for himself. So CJ has to escape town, so I'm curious to see where we go from there. But from what I can tell, it looks like there's going to be certain events that take place in various portions of the map, so each city has its own events. Once you finish those events, you go to the next town and keep going, but I'm not quite sure about that. But overall, it is nice to have some progress being made on the city, or in the overall game, that in trying to reunite the gang, CJ has to escape because of Smokes, or whatever that guy's name is, his betrayal. So overall, so far, like I've been saying, the story is very good, very intriguing, and the graphics definitely don't hold up, so maybe the definitive version is the way to go. But it's one of those things where, do you want to spend like $6 or $7 on the classic version of the game, or do you want to spend $20 on the definitive edition that improves some of the UI, improves the graphics, and up-reses a lot of it, and makes it look less like the 2003 version? So all things you have to consider. And also, can you afford a $20 game versus a $6 or $7 game? So all of those sorts of things. But overall, I mean, good story, and now it's getting super interesting to see how all these different stories play out. So with that being said, that's really it for the bulk of the episode. I'm still kind of playing Real Coaster on and off. I haven't really been putting too much of those gameplays up, just because I'm making some progress, but it's one of those things where it's pretty much the same thing in every park. You have to build it out, upgrade the rides in order to unlock the next level and the next park. So I'm doing that whole thing where I'm probably going to just do the first setup of the park, and then the final one, and maybe 1 or 2 videos in between as I get those gameplays recorded. So look out for that. But other than that, that's really it. And then before I forget, yes, there is a episode of Custom Live Wallpaper up. So for this particular one, we have the overlap groups and stack groups tutorial. So when you want to combine certain elements and want to keep them organized a little bit on your home screen, that's where stack groups and overlap groups come very well into play. So a simple example of like an overlap group is, let's say you want a battery bar, and then in the middle of it you still want to show the percentage and the charging status. So let's say like you want to get notified when you want to have a specific notification when you plug your phone in. You can have that. Now that's going to actually be a twofold thing, but you can also do something as simple as have a progress bar that shows the battery progress, like whatever the percentage is at. But if you do it via an overlap group, you can also stick a text box in the middle of it and set a formula to say if your phone is plugged in, then, or if the KLWP detects that your phone status is charging, you can have it say one thing, like let's say AC, but if it's not plugged in, then it says battery, or if it's plugged in, it'll say charging, but not plugged in is not charging, or something like that. Or you can just have it show the battery percentage and things like that. or even a specific icon if you want. So you can have it say, well, if your phone is charging, show one battery icon, but if it's not charging, show another one. So that's where overlap groups come into play. And same thing if you want to have, for example, a picture or just a shape with a text over it. So if you want to have a text button, you can set, a square shape, and then you can have some text in there. Set a touch action to launch an app and things like that. Stack groups come into play nicely when you want to organize different elements in a stack group, as the name implies, whether it's vertical or horizontal. So let's say you want to have a list of apps, and you just want to write out the names and have them launch the apps when you click on the word. Then you can do a stack group, so that way it's perfectly aligned. You can set the alignment to, vertical center, vertical left, horizontal center, or horizontal top, bottom, whatever. And then the same thing with the text box. You can have it set to left, center, or right. And then organize it accordingly so that way the stack group stays organized. It's always in the same position. And then if you want to move it around your screen to different spots, for example, depending on the wallpaper you use, maybe it works better in a specific spot because let's say you're left-handed like I am. You can put it on the bottom left of your screen, and it's easy to access that list of apps, and it's easy to get to whatever number of items you want. So for me, I think it's like 6 or 7 is good enough. So depending on the size of your phone, what your reach is, what your use case is, but you can move the stack group around. And same thing with overlap groups. Like let's say you want to have an icon with a particular color, you can do that. Like if you want to circle and the icon just says WA for WhatsApp, and you want it to be the color green, you can do that. And then the same thing for red for Gmail, purple for Teams, and things like that, and have it launch the app when you touch that button or the dot or whatever you want to call it. Then you can do that via an overlap group. So something simple like that. And same thing with and you can even combine them. So you can do things like have a overlap group or a stack group and an overlap group. So let's say you want a rounded rectangle that has a list of apps, and next to each app you have a dot for a color. So you can set an overlap group, set that background image, and then set a stack group with, even if it's just the names of the apps, you can have the list of app names so they stand out on your wallpaper. Set a transparency for that background if you want to have a little bit of a tint or something like that. So things like that. So using an overlap and stack groups gives you that much more control over the organization of your home screen. So if you want to group things together, have certain things combined in order to work better together, in order to keep it that much more organized, then definitely play around with it depending on your needs. But just know that you can also sit around and combine those elements, so you can use them together to do even more. I'm going to say embedded, but you can do embedded items for things like that. And I will say that as one of the upcoming reviews, once we get through all these basic elements, is going to be how to create some of those more intricate widgets, like a weather widget or a media player widget. So you can see how combining elements like shapes and text boxes and overlap groups and stack groups and touch actions and things like that can all work together to create a widget in Custom Live Wallpaper Maker to use the very basic tools to do what will seem like very complex or very cool futuristic looking things. So with that being said, that is actually all for this particular episode. So if you have any questions, comments, feedback, or anything like that, you can comment on this post on social media. All of it's linked on the website at HeadphonesNeil.reviews. If you want to follow along and subscribe to the YouTube channel for gameplay videos, the YouTube version of the podcast, and all of that good stuff, be sure to visit youtube.com/PatelN01. And a special thank you to everyone who has been subscribing to the YouTube channel. I'm seeing some very good growth on there as far as subscriber count, view count, and all of that good stuff. So thank you very much for everyone's subscriptions there. So and always, if there's stuff you like, dislike, suggestions on games to play that I can try and play, or something to queue up once I start playing, if I can start using Xbox Game Pass again, then, or if that ever happens, once I get my new internet and all that, then I'll queue up those games to put up those gameplay videos. So I definitely welcome all that. And much like the KLWP, and same thing there, if there's something you want me to show off related to overlap groups and stack groups and stuff like that, then definitely leave a comment. I'll see if I can kind of mimic or fill your request with what you're asking, and share that video as well, so you can take a look at how it'll work, or if kind of what you're looking for is doable, or maybe you just need a little bit of inspiration to help get you through it. Maybe something I said wasn't quite clear and you just need that extra visual. I'm definitely able to help out there as well. But that is all for this particular episode. So yeah, definitely everything is linked over at the website at HeadphonesNeil.reviews. So you can get to social media links, YouTube links, YouTube channel links, and all of that good stuff. So thank you for listening, tuning in, subscribing, whether it's the podcast or the YouTube channel. Thank you very much for your support. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time.